Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a murder suspect appears in court, charging the death of a missing Pulaski County woman.
And state police say there are around 3,000 collisions involving deer in Kentucky every year, and half of them happen from October to December.
Plus, names on tombstones can fade with time, but one Pike County man is making sure veterans' names are never forgotten.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. The time is 5:32 on November 21st. I'm Madison Pergram.
Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning on this Thursday. I'm Will Puckett, and almost the weekend.
Friday Eve. We are almost here. But with the weekend comes maybe some not so good weather. Let's go to Brandon. Brandon, just break the bad news.
Yeah, great setup there, guys. I really appreciate that. The weather's going to be fantastic. No, it's really not. But this morning, it's not too bad. As we head out the door, let's take a look at Buffalo Mountain. Cloudy skies, but no rain as of yet. So that's some good news. We were hoping to clear out a little bit yesterday and today with the cloud cover at least, but things didn't work out that way. That system that has been sitting to our north and west that will start to move our way has been throwing literal shade at us for the last couple of days, last few days actually. Not much fog, but be careful this morning. Temperatures all over the place. 32 in Jonesville, 44 in Monticello right now. So a big range. So I'm putting a normal day and a little extra on the coffee meter this morning. So again, you'll just need that coffee to get you motivated. But it is Friday Eve, as I said. High today, 61. We averaged 55, so we're starting to go downward on that trend just a little bit there. The record of 74 was set back on this date in 1994. I'll talk about the extended forecast, including what we can expect for the weekend coming up here in just a little bit.
Alrighty, Brandon, thank you. Well, early in April, a fire tore through a home in the Tots community of Harlan County, killing 3 people. Allison Howard and her 3-year-old twins, Olivia and Alex, died in that fire. The only survivor was Allison's husband, Chad Howard. He was flown out to a Georgia burn unit where 80% of his body was burned, and for months, Chad laid in an ICU. Yesterday, he sat down in his first interview. He says the pain is always there, but he's trying to move forward.
I believe God's got other things for us once we leave this earth. Why? I don't know. All of us will probably wonder why we're still on this earth. That gives us even more reason to do the right things in life.
Chad is hosting an event to remember his family. That event will be Sunday from 1 to 5 p.m. at the Harlan Center. He says there will also be classes to learn about fire safety.
And names on tombstones can fade with time, but one Pike County man is making sure veterans' names are never forgotten.
WYMT's Emily Bennett talked to Keith Long, who is pressure washing veterans' gravestones during the month of November.
Like the inscriptions on tombstones, history can fade away.
They're not forgotten to me.
Headstone to headstone, Keith Long is doing everything he can to preserve legacy.
I was just thankful. I was grateful to be here, because without these guys, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have all these opportunities that's just been handed straight in front of me. There's just no way.
Long was an addict for more than 10 years.
For an addict or an alcoholic, giving back or anything like that, that's the last thing we're worried about. We're worried about serving self, and that's it.
He was in and out of jail and rehab.
Last time I got arrested, it was like, I'm just so tired of this. There's got to be a better life.
Since then, he's found that better life.
Somebody called me to come watch their house or something like that, and it just took off. So, I've just not looked back.
Part of that life is here in the last place you would expect.
This is the least I can do, and this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Clean for almost 2 years, he now owns his own business and can think about more than just himself.
I just want to give back to the community that's just given so much to me.
Here at the Annie E. Young Cemetery, he power washes veterans' headstones in his free time.
It's just nice that they're not forgotten about. That's kind of the whole reason behind it, is that, nobody's forgotten about.
Knowing nothing is possible without the ones who give the ultimate sacrifice. In Pike County, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, Long says pressure washing graves is just the tip of the iceberg. He hopes to start volunteering with Habitat for Humanity soon.
And a murder suspect appears in court charged with the death of a missing Pulaski County woman. Deputies think they found the remains of Leanna Brumley earlier this month. Investigators say she was shot, hit with a hatchet, and then burned. Danelle Powell is charged with the murder of Brumley. She pleaded not guilty in court last week. Yesterday, new testimony was giving her defense, saying she was forced at gunpoint to kill Leanna Brumley. It was an emotional afternoon for Brumley's family, who packed the first rows of the district courtroom.
The body was then struck with a hatchet by Gerald Avalon Hendricks, according to Danelle Powell, and they attempted to burn the body.
Because I think she needs to get the same thing done to her as she did to my baby.
The judge did set a bond for Powell at $500,000 cash or $1 million bond and property. A judge found probable cause, and now a grand jury will consider indictments against Powell and the Hendricks cousins.
Well, yesterday we learned a third person is now behind bars in a criminal abuse case. Investigators arrested Jerry Maynard on a warrant. Maynard is accused of physically abusing a child and woman. Police say he hit the child with a wooden paddle and also slapped the child. He also faces a charge of wanton endangerment. They already arrested Kylene Anderson and Betty Maynard in relation to this case.
And a woman is in jail in Laurel County after deputies say she ran away in handcuffs before being found 2.5 hours later. Deputies say loss prevention workers at the Walmart near Corbin detained Brittany Turner for allegedly shoplifting. They say she lied about who she was and eventually led deputies to her husband in a nearby parking lot. That man, Roy Worthington, had outstanding warrants and was also arrested. Turner ran away while handcuffed, but deputies later found her still restrained. She has warrants from Harlan County and from Virginia. She's now charged with theft, escape, and giving an officer false information.
A Laurel County man is behind bars after deputies say he tried to hotwire a dead vehicle. Investigators say this man, 31-year-old Jeffrey Dixon, was arrested Tuesday night. A homeowner caught him trying to hotwire a truck that could not start. Deputies say Dixon was intoxicated and combative. They were able to arrest him and take him to the Laurel County Detention Center.
And yesterday, a man died in a morning crash in Estill County in Kentucky. 89 near the Powell County line was closed for hours. State troopers believe Kelsey Wheeler was driving south on Spout Springs Road when she lost control in a curve. Police say Wheeler crossed the center line and crashed into Justin Carson. Carson died at the scene. Rescuers sent Wheeler to UK Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
Well, a warning for drivers this time of year. Watch out for deer on the roads.
State police say collisions involving deer are on the rise, and each year there are around 3,000.
Half of those happen in the months of October, November, and December. Adam Burniston explains the peak time for deer to move around during the day.
According to the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife, November is the peak of when we typically see collisions involving deer. While hunting may seem to contribute, officials say these collisions coincide more with the deer mating season.
During their breeding season, they move a lot more than they traditionally do. Bucks are looking for does, and does are also looking for bucks. And so with that, you get an increased movement.
And unfortunately for drivers, this movement typically peaks during your morning and evening commute.
Deer like to move right at that pre-dawn, pre-sunset hours, so when it's really hard for our motorists to see, that's when you have your highest chance of collision.
Now, according to Kentucky State Police, just last year, there were over 3,000 collisions involving deer. And if you ever find yourself in a collision with a deer, the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife says it's always best to mind your own safety first.
Don't get out of your vehicle unless you feel like you need to. Call 911, let them know. They will dispatch our officers. They will dispatch any local police department to handle it if the animal's wounded.
But even as November comes to an end, that doesn't mean the threat is over.
December is probably the second highest, so it's not just a middle of the November thing. As we move into December and get out of Thanksgiving, mid to early December, you can see an increase in deer movement as well.
In Franklin County, Adam Burniston, WKYT.
Jenkins says the Bluegrass region, along with parts of northern Kentucky, have the highest populations of deer.
And Corbin Independent Schools are having a citywide meal ahead of Thanksgiving. Corbin schools, businesses, churches, and restaurants have come together to plan a community Thanksgiving for those in need. The schools in the district also had a food drive to collect food to give families to have a dinner to cook on Thanksgiving as well.
That's what we're hoping for, that they can come and they can have a dinner with, if they don't have family, they can have a dinner with family, and then they can go make their own if they feel like that's what they want to do.
The dinner and food giveaway will be at Corbin High School from 5 to 7 Monday night.
Kentucky native Elaine Stott is still kicking so far. In this week's episode of Survivor, Elaine managed to edge out Missy in an immunity challenge. There were 2 tribal councils last night. In the first, the group voted out Aaron 4-1. In the second, Elaine cast the deciding vote against Missy, voting her out 3-2. But on her way out, Missy told Elizabeth to take out Elaine, quote, slowly and methodically. You can see if Elaine will make it through next Wednesday at 8 right here on WYMT.
And big news for Eastern Kentucky native and musician Tyler Childers. He picked up his first Grammy nomination in his short but prospering career. Childers is up for Best Country Solo Performance for his song All Yourn. He's up against big names like Willie Nelson, Blake Shelton, Tanya Tucker, and Ashley McBride. The Grammys airs right here on WYMT January 26th.
When a Portland, Oregon man's cat disappeared 5 years ago, he lost hope of ever seeing him again. That was until this week.
We're tracking more rain chances just in time for the weekend. That's the way it always works, isn't it? I'll have the full forecast in about 3 minutes.